Dreams that are inaccessible. Hi, everybody. I think I can talk now over the... Well, obviously there was no dialogue going on there, but what made me choose to play this one? Well, because it's real good. That's why, basically. And yeah, I would probably say that either Black and White or Black 2 and White 2 are kind of the best Pokemon games. I mean, I have strong feelings about Sun and Moon, and of course, obviously, I have the nostalgia for the first two generations, even though I admit that Gen 2 has some problems after you finish the main game. But, like, yeah. Gen 5, it is weird to me to be forced to remember. Forced might be a strong word, but to be made to remember that people didn't like Gen 5 when it came out. Like, was everybody just on some really hard drugs at the time or something? What was wrong with people? Other than the fact that the main thing that I seem to recall a lot of people being very contentious about was people being very loudly like, shut up about N. And it's like, now I realize, oh, it was mostly teenage boys who had that problem. And I don't want to be too judgmental, but also you may be able to figure where I am going with that. Well, I mean, as far as decisions of any of them being the best, there's obviously going to be a lot of people who are just like, if they play it first, they're probably going to be like, okay, this is because of nostalgia. I've heard people even defend Diamond and Pearl for reasons like that, and it's like, well, you know what? I can't convince you, even though you are objectively wrong. So I won't even try. But yes, yeah, Gen 5 is kind of hard linear. I think that is probably not an unfair sentiment. Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, laugh at them anyway, right? That's what I do, is I'm just like, you know, I'm concrete in my, you know, feelings that I'm wrong, but also if somebody brings it up, I'm going to mock the shit out of them for it. And I mean, again, it's still Pokemon. I still mark out for it really hard, no matter what. So even the bad games I can have some fun with. I mean, okay, yeah, Diamond and Pearl are a bit of a stretch. But, actually, I think I had more fun with the remakes of those than I did with the originals. But that's not necessarily an endorsement of BDSP. Those are... I regularly see Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl go on sale for like $30 each, and I feel like that's with good reason. Obviously, it's still a little bit too much in my IMO, but, you know, the tax. It's never gonna go away. Anywho, enough of me fucking around. Let's get into the Pokemans. Yeah, exactly. It's a good gameplay formula that works, and I don't know why people keep wanting it to change. But I suppose not everything is for everyone at the end of the day, truly. That is a Minccino. We can see those in this game. Minccino and its evolution Cinccino are pretty alright. I don't remember how easy it is to get a shiny stone in this game for us to evolve Minccino into Cinccino, but not a terrible Pokemon. It uses Skill Link, and it has same type attack bonus for a lot of its multi-hits, so like, yeah. A defender of all of Gen 7. See, I can imagine that being a bit of a rough patch for a lot of people for multiple reasons. Let's go Pikachu and Eevee starting as the big one. And I've said that I have, you know, issues regarding how the story played out in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. However, they are good games. They still play very well, and at the end of the day, that's pretty big. In fact, I think the Pokemon selection in Ultra Sun Moon is, if I recall correctly, that's better than the OG by a non-zero margin. Yeah, thank goodness HMs are like a thing of the past now. I just want to come in and say that one of the biggest things that Gen 7 did that was smart was that they finally committed. They finally got rid of HMs. Like, even this game plays a little bit coy about it because, like, yeah, okay, Surf and Strength are actual moves that you would actually want to use, but there's still like one necessary cut bush in this game. And then they brought that stuff back a little bit more in X and Y, and of course ORAS were like the original RSE in that regard, so, you know, but not as Gen 4. But then Gen 7, they gave you the Ride Pager. Gen 8, the Rotom Bike just kind of transforms. And as much as I'm like, okay, I feel like this Rotom shilling is a little bit silly. Not that I hate Rotom or anything, but just like every time I see that, I'm like, why would you do that? It's like any of the tech shit in Battle Network, honestly. And yeah, Infinite Use TMs need to make a return. I understand the one-off TMs for Gen 9 because of the gameplay style. Mostly making TM building fairly easy, but again, a lot of it is just because it's kind of riding some coattails. Again, I hate to be like a total grognard about video games in general, but actually, Pokemon needs to stay the fucking same. Because, I mean, sure, there's other things you could do with the franchise, and that's what spin-offs are for. I mean, the Mystery Dungeon games are pretty good. But the open world is just like, no. That's just, no. No. Get back to what you're actually good at. Yeah, and they had them split up in a certain way that was that TMs are usually, and usually is the key word here, more of like gimmicky moves. And the TRs are your stuff like your flamethrowers and your fire blasts and your big nukes that are a little bit more one-size-fits-all to give you a little bit more of a challenge. That's actually kind of fair. But again, I'm still a big fan of multi-use TMs. Anyway, I've been talking for too long. We're going to be this person whose hat is not operating correctly. Okay, yeah, select button switches our palette. We can also use the touch screen. In fact, I've got this rigged up to the mouse, so I can just do that if I want to, but I don't, so we're not going to touch screen too much. I mean, good question. Yeah, and like the thing with TRs, again, I say that it was a challenge. There's a big asterisk there because the challenge was completing max raids mostly. But it was still sort of like a logistical kind of thing a little bit for the stuff that was like the top of the top shelf, which was fairly justifiable. But, well, I'll just say it was preferable to what we've got in Scarlet Violet. And while Scarlet Violet were quite fun, again, I'm coming to the realization that it's like we were sold an incomplete game and the DLC pass is the completion of the game. And that, yeah, it was still fun, but also, please not again. Yeah, Sword Shield were definitely not peak, we'll say that. Sword Shield were kind of middle of the road. Actually, maybe a little lower than that, but I'm also the sicko who would be like, oh yeah, Gen 2, that's... I would be the sick fuck who'd be like, Gen 2 is kind of mid, but mostly Gen 2 being not at the top of my list. Gen 2 would... a big part of it is because it falls off, and there's just a lot of... there's... Gen 2 was kind of the beginning of too many HMs. Like, the curve goes absolutely out the window, but not in a way that's challenging, right about once you beat Morty. Because, yeah, that Team Rocket base, I know Team Rocket are pathetic, but also, I think they overdid it. And I would... Again, I still have the Crystal decomp files sitting on my computer. Maybe I should actually try finishing, you know, or at least picking at that. I said at one point, hey, yeah, I wanted to do something kind of simple with it. And then I forgot what I was doing. But also, there is sort of the amount of Pokemon that are available in certain areas. Some of that is kind of unfortunate. I would like more Pokemon to be available earlier in the game for purposes of, like, okay, I'm not saying like Route 30 Larvitar, but also, I mean, almost every dark type is basically Kanto exclusive unless you get an Umbreon. Anywho, yeah, I keep doing this talking too much thing. We're gonna get through like one gym today and it's gonna be sad. Compared to the Gen 2 remakes, I think the level curve was swung much harder in the Gen 2 remakes, possibly, but yeah, it's just like, in terms of the level curve. This is just a regular playthrough of this. We may do a Randlock or some other kind of challenge if I can find one. I admit that I'm a little bit scared off of Randlocks of this particular era, because the last time I saw anybody randomize this, I saw that even though they had Wonder Guard not randomized in, that it still ended up in there. So I don't really know what, but that was many a year ago. I've played Black and Black 2, or actually it might have been White and White 2, but they're basically the same game. So yeah. But yes, HMs in HGSS I think are about the same. There's one that's added, but that's Rock Climb, and it's literally post-game. And deep in post-game at that. Well, he's talking about vanilla Gen 2, so it's more like you gotta shuffle around your own Pokemon to pull that off. Yeah, so yeah, no, we're just talking about vanilla, yeah. Because the level curve in Gen 2 is just kind of big lull. That's what I was saying a lot about the Team Rocket hideout. Is like, aren't those guys just like giving you level 17 Pokemon or something? And yeah, I know you can go that way pretty easily from after you beat Morty. Oh god, I couldn't remember. I almost said Chuck, but yeah. After you beat Morty, and I feel like a lot of the gym leaders actually do not have great teams either. I think about Jasmine. In fact, doesn't her Steelix have Sunny Day too or something? Like, oof. Yeah, okay. Buff me without me having to spend a turn. when I'm already picking Cyndaquil as my starter because it's probably the strongest in yeah, I've seen you randomize. You randomize far more than I do because I don't want to say you hate yourself, Dave Iron Fury, but you kind of hate yourself. Male character option in Gen 2, Rick. Oh, I get it. You know, I still haven't watched a whole lot of Rick and Morty. Yeah, Totodile is probably still probably one of my favorite starters, but I also lean water in general. But honestly, all the Gen 2 starters, like, for as much shit as Chikorita gets, realistically, Chikorita's problem is that it's just sort of it's in the worst place possible, really. Meganium's stats are okay, and Chikorita's moveset is actually paced out nicely. Like, you get Razor Leaf right at the start. Unfortunately, your problem is that your first gyms are Flying and Bug. It's one of those rare times when you can actually say, gee, I wish this was a grass poison. Yeah, like I said, Chikorita is just like... Chikorita is just in the worst choice of region possible for being the starter. I mean, if we had the Gen 2 starters here, that would be pretty top shelf. But yeah, Meganium gets quite bulky. I think Meganium, like, past that... God, when did I start pronouncing it that way? Meganium, pardon me. Meganium doesn't really have a great reputation, but I think a large part of that is because it doesn't do a lot to stand out. And it doesn't have quite the gigantic stat lines that you'd want for competitive. Anywho, speaking of tough starter choices, we've actually got a modestly good lineup here. We've got Snivy, we've got Tepig, and we've got Oshawott. The odds are quite good that I'm going to go for Oshawott, but I will hear other choices if anybody else wants to throw anything else in here as their opinions. Because we have access to very good grass types in this region. I mean, we have access to goodies of all of these. Oh, does Serperior get Coil without any sort of... without, like, breeding or next gen or anything? Because I know that it can get Coil, I just forgot when. But, yeah, we have access... To me, it's like, okay, what's going to be the type that we will have first access to a better Pokemon? And I believe that our... And again, better being an asterisk because all of these are good. But, okay, yes. Let me try speaking properly. When are we going to get access to a good Pokemon of that type? And so, let's take a look at Snivy. Snivy's a grass type. There's a very, very good grass option for us that we can pick up as of Nacrene City. I think we can do the trade, like, as soon as we get there. The downside is that it's Petalil, so that's a Sunstone evolution. Tragically, we can't get Contrary in here because of old gen hidden ability rules. Now, we move over to Tepig. Our fire-type options in Black 1... Leavanny is pretty good. Leavanny is good as more of like a physical type. I actually like Leavanny for its bug damage, realistically. Yeah, our fire options are actually quite bad, come to think of it. We've got... Although we do have easy-ish access to Darmanitan. And I believe Gen 5 Vanilla Darmanitan is actually quite good. So we've got Tepig, Darmanitan. Late on, we can go for Chandelure instead. Or, I mean, I guess technically the Trash Monkey exists, but who wants to be caught with their pants down using the Trash Monkey? God, that sounds so much worse the way that I said it. Whoops. And technically Heatmor exists, but like... Heatmor exists, but it's Victory Road. And Heatmor has never been, like, much sooner than that. So even though Heatmor is Heatmor, I think, is actually a legit Pokemon, you just never get to use it in anything. I actually quite like Heatmor. I just never get to use it. And Larvesta is Larvesta. Larvesta is requires level 59 to evolve, which is a lot of work. And it's a slow hatching egg, and it's the slow EXP curve. So getting to 59, I believe that requires the most out of any of these. Yeah, needs the most EXP to reach that, so it's kind of brutal. Yes, that is the big thing that I was thinking is Duskstone is kind of a rough. I don't know how easy you can get evolution stones in this game. Full stop. I actually think most of them are pretty rough. So, I mean, what I said before about Lilligant, that might actually be a bit of BS. Regardless, I think Tepig is probably not going to be our choice here, just because we can get other fire types that are usable. Once we hit a place where they're repeatable, Retro, that might be a thing that we do. Although I do agree that they kind of need to be more available. Irene, please. And over here, our water type, we've got Oshawott. Now, as you'd expect, this region is awash in water types, but I don't know how good most of them are. Seismitoad's water ground, so it does die to anything with a grass type move pretty much ever. Basculin exists. It's not really the kind of thing that we want to use for that sort of purpose. Caracosta. I don't think I've ever seriously used Caracosta, but it is a shell smasher. It's also a fossil. We'd probably use Archeops, I think, more likely. Hard carried your... Yeah, fair enough. Jellicent is quite good. Yeah, there's a ton of water types. It's just that... Again, Retro, this is Black 1. If this is Black 2, we might be able to get that, but... Unfortunately... We're in this game, so I think it may actually be Snivy that we... No, wait, no, we already said... Oh, for crud's sakes, there's a lot of... All of these we can get a decent option fairly early. You know, I don't use Tepig that much, so we're actually going to use Tepig. You guys should flip a coin for that. Oh yeah, okay, sure, buddy. That's why you didn't choose first, right? Bam Bam, yeah. Bam Bam Bigelow. full name's a little bit long for the character limits in this one. Unfortunately, we're not in Showdown. I'd say or a Pokemon Essentials type of game, but I think even those, the character limits tend to be a little short. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so this is basically just a tutorial. Oh, our Tepig is female. That is statistically unusual. Unless it gets re-rolled after this, which would be quite dumb because they actually do have the EXP carries over, so it would be very weird if it re-rolled. Yeah, it's 1 in 8, but goodness knows that it feels like it's less common for me, that's for sure. Does it? That'd be pretty odd if so, but it wouldn't be the weirdest thing that they've done with one of these games. I'll tell you that. So yeah, you know, basic baby tutorial. The basic starter Pokemon have a lower EXP yield in this game, just so that way you can't end up having a level 6 Pokemon against Sharon here. It's okay. I'm sure the TV screen isn't cracked, and at this point, that is the thing I'd be most concerned about, because everything else, I mean, that's a Wii. That thing is invincible. Surely. It's a Nintendo unit. A Nintendo console. At least in this period. Exactly, yeah. The Nintendium Alloy. You eat your heart out, Gundams. Well, look, nobody said the insides are gonna stay safe. But the outside, you know. Porky is still aging to death in that absolutely safe capsule, you know? Wait, no, we haven't played that game on this channel. I've actually never played Mother 3, believe it or not. Hooray! We hit level 6 and we didn't gain a move because this isn't Gen 6. Where they actually put moves of the... Actually, no, in Gen 6 you had moves of the Pokemon's type, right? As of level 5, pardon me. When do we get to name our Pokemon? Is it not until after we talk to Professor Juniper or something? You can tell it's been a minute since I played this one. Yeah, they definitely gave you a lot of very strong physical hitters. Oh, well, that's gonna be about the 4th gym, I suspect. Because, yeah, Alessa's gym in this game. I don't know, I think it always bugged me that, Yeah, that most of Alessa's gym party is just Emolga, and then there's a Zebstrika, which is like, hey, electric types have one weakness, and you've chosen the Pokemon that are all specifically immune to it. Thanks. Really testing me on how to deal with this specific type of Pokemon, right? Yeah, Ferrothorn is a defensive monster, so that would actually be quite a good choice. No, Zebstrika is the only one that's immune to, not immune to electricity, but the 2 Emolga are. Oh, if I can get hold of Electros, it'll probably be in the party, just because it is a... Electros is a super good Pokemon in-game. Just a sec here, I'm moving the chair. Yeah, Emolga's not, like, hard to beat with regular attacks. It's just kind of, like, weird, because it's like, hey, here's a Pokemon that's immune to the specific weakness of electric types. Also, I failed to pay attention to the dialogue. Do I have to go up there and... Yeah, I do. Oops. Electros is not very fast, which causes it some problems on the competitive scene, but I think it's fine to use in-game, because usually you can compensate for that with all the other stuff. She wants to know about the origins of Pokemon. Well, I think the very earliest drafts of Capsule Monsters date back to 1990. I could be wrong about that. Alright, so now is the time for this to happen. This being nicknaming. As I try to piece a few, let's try to piece a couple of things together in the back of the old Brainerino here. Bacon, yeah, the classic. Hey! Dusty, how's it going, Chief? I hope you're having yourself a good evening, and yeah, welcome to, again, in my opinion, best generation, Gen 5. Well, you see, Irene, I'm trying to think of any of the other Gerudo names other than Nabooru and, well, Ganon. What was, Urbosa, I think was the... Urbosa was the one in Breath of the Wild, I think, but I've never played Breath of the Wild. On the other hand... Porchetta, that gives me an idea here, which is also a reference to something that I don't know anything about. If I can spell it properly. Pochita! I know absolutely nothing about Chainsaw Man, except that Pochita is really adorable. So, yeah. Ah, I gotcha. That's right, Bianca. We've got to learn about Pokemans for Dr. Juniper here. That is absolutely pretty good, Porchetta. Gotcha. Thank you. I'd say you're making me look like an uncultured swine, but that's... Ooh, that's a joke in and of itself. Sure. Well, I mean, we're already doing a thing, so may as well. Although, if we were in black version, I believe we would be up shit creek without a paddle, without trading, in terms of being able to even see every Pokemon. Because I believe black version has the vultures, but you can see at least Braviary. Meanwhile, in the other version, you can't see the vultures at all, and you're just like, what are those? What are these two entries in the Pokedex that I'm missing? And then you go look it up and you just kind of go, oh. Now that's going to be a problem because I can't GTS them without knowing them. Oh, Mandibuzz has been a fucking champ for a while lately, actually. I think Mandibuzz was kind of like mid in Black-White era competitive, and then just ever since, it's just been rising. But yeah, it's a good Pokemon. I approve pretty heartily of Mandibuzz. I like it a lot. Tragically, I don't think we're gonna get to use one during this playthrough, but you know, what can you do? Tailwind, yeah. Snarl is the one that always reduces the target's special attack, if I recall correctly. Yeah, because it's basically an Octazooka mod, just without targeting accuracy. Oh, Octazooka. Oh, Octillery. What an odd Pokemon in terms of its placement there. Octillery has always kind of low-key been one of my favorites just because it can use so many different types of moves, but it is kind of... It never gets to do a lot in most things. I think it's actually on a ban list in Gen 2, though. Yeah, to be honest, I don't remember if Mandibuzz can learn Snarl, because I usually don't think about that move very much. I could have sworn that it had better special attack than physical, so Dark Pulse would have been an option, but of course, Knockoff is just so overtuned right now, in a not as negative manner, that it's like, okay, yeah, 65 power is real good. But also, it does seem to be such a one-size-fits-all option. I would think that Hisuian Zoroark would be a very good... it would be real good with any sort of defensive support because it's Ghost Normal. So, you know, already what a fucking champ, right? Favorite season? I think it's been a while since I've seen any of the differing maps, but I'm probably gonna say Winter just by the virtue of the fact that I really like Winter Sawsbuck. I think it looks pretty cool. You know, I'll take the nice ice-feeling deer. We don't have a moose Pokemon yet, so clearly all the seasonals, the seasonal Sawsbucks need like a unique move or something. Yeah, Tinglu has kind of moose vibes a little bit. Excuse me. The enemy AI is very easily confused, and yeah, Terrakion is definitely much more of a bull. There are others of the Musketeers are a little bit more Servid, but yeah, Terrakion is distinctly a bull. It's like definitely a bovine, whereas the other two are a little bit more deerish. Well, I mean, to be fair, Accumula Town is just down the road, so what do you... Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Moose will kick your ass. You ever see one of them just running through a gigantic snowbank? It's kind of terrifying. Anywho, yeah, Hisuian Zoroark seems just really, really nasty in general. Like, they really did just kind of look at a type like that and go, okay, yeah, we're gonna make this really fast glass cannon with this mixed moveset that is really hard to predict at first, you know, at first glance, and just being like, oh, it's a Hisuian Zoroark, what's it using? And then it hits you with a bunch of shit that you never would have guessed, but, again, it is nice, though, to see a normal ghost, which I think I've said before, that probably is one of the strongest types in the game in terms of defense. If that thing was a tank, I mean, that would be one of the most disgusting Pokemon out there. Dark Ghost is pretty nasty. I just kind of think of normal Ghost as being a little bit more significant, if only because normal Ghost has even better immunities. Being that it's immune to Ghost in place of Psychic. And Ghost is just such a... Ghost is such a good attacking type that... Yeah. Alright, let's see if we can't catch us this Lillipup real quick. Oh yeah, that is true, because they dumped Pursuit, so yeah, Ghost is made significantly worse by that. But also just Ghost, I think Ghost got some other defensive upgrades in the last couple of years that make it kind of gross. And also the fact that they took away Steel's Ghost Resist is probably good for balancing Steel, but it made Ghost a significantly nastier attack type, too. So, yeah. Being immune to Ghost is significantly more important than being immune to Psychic if you had to choose one, in my opinion. Again, basically, I'm just saying it's kind of a good thing that they chose to make it Hisuian Zoroark that's the Ghost normal instead of something that is built like a brick shithouse. Because goodness knows, if they made it a tank Pokemon that was that, yeah, Psychic exists, but that's about it. Oh, I've got... I can put these goofy little smiley faces in my Pokemon names. I forgot about that. Yeah, especially because, hey, now they have to deal with the prevalence of Ghost and Dark attacks. That doesn't help them. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to nickname this thing, so give me a sec to see if I can... What was the dog on the Muppets? Rolf or something? Spelling? Hang on a second. Yeah. There we go. Red 13. No, it's too bulky for that. Red 13's more of a cat. Alright, now did we get a... Did we get a pickup? That's what I want. Did we get pickup as our ability, or we got runaway? It's pickup. Heck yeah. That's the good stuff. That's what we like to see out of our Scruffy the Janitor. And here we got Patrat, a Pokemon that you probably don't think about a whole lot, but it does still exist. I mean, yeah, probably not, but Rattata we have at home, exactly. That's what I was saying to somebody recently, is they should have just had Rattata again. I mean, listen, not for nothing, but Unova is kind of designed to be centered around NYC. And they do have a lot of rats around there. So they probably didn't need this prairie dog thing. They should have just given us, you know, they should have just given us Rattata again, or something that's the same concept. They haven't exactly shied away from the idea of repeating concepts before for Pokemon. You know, so if they gave us another rat, big fucking deal. However, I am going to nickname it even though I'm not going to use it. And it's going to be Hypnorat, because that's the only thing it's got that stands out. It's got Hypnosis, it's got Super Fang, too. So, I mean, I guess it can kind of be like a budget catch machine, but super budget, like... That's like, oh, you gotta eat the... That's the kind of budget of, like, you're eating the package of your food for the rest of your sustenance. Got work in the morning. Fair enough. Get you some sleep. We didn't get it. We didn't pick up a knife, did we? No. Fire Drake, please. No, I was talking about the fact that Patrat is not much of a Pokemon. And, you know, just, like, ultra low buck Raticate that doesn't have much going for it. It means we get into a fight every single step, basically, dude. You seeing that? It was a little bit rough. Oh, Plastic Allen emotes. Oh, Plastic Allen. When will he return from the moving to Minnesota war? Is there anything else on Route 1, or is it just Goofy Rat and Goofy Dog? Yeah, I mean, I've only got 3, so... something. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's not a fast process. I'll give him that. But, you know, I'm ever hopeful, right? The Pokemon Center, where they started to incorporate the shops starting in this gen, which I think is not a bad idea. I feel like there's something of note down here. Oh, well, that's a strange thing to say. I don't know, I think he just called me a pig. Yeah, that's true. That tune, if they could figure out a place to use it again, because once that became a thing in Gen 3 and Gen 4, that was, like, actually kind of a jam. Patrat sucks and Watchog is the worst. Yeah, you're pretty much right. I gotta say that Watchog has gotta be the worst fully evolved Pokemon in this region's Pokedex. I feel like I should do like a bottom 10 or bottom 20 list of Pokemon at some point, because yeah. Oh, it's coming for that A. Right, yeah, basically. I mean, I guess it's got to use Hypnosis somehow, but ooh boy. No, the double screen is just sort of set up the way it is. I probably could figure out a way to set things up differently with Melon DS on oh yeah, because hold on for just a second and I will actually hide the Melon DS window and we can see the full art of this. This is actually from one of the TCG cards of Reshiram from around this era. Okay, yeah. And yeah, it ended up just being like, okay, yeah, Reshiram is front and center there, because I was having a little bit of difficulty finding a good wallpaper for this sort of thing that was like all focused on one side, so I was just like, okay, what looks cool instead? And I liked that piece of art. I'll see if I can grab a link to a scan image real quick. Because, I mean, at this point, I've paused to talk enough times that I'm not slowing the game down realistically anymore. I mean, that's fair, because it is just kind of like big white feathery wings. Maybe I should set it up to rotate through a couple different pieces of art. Here, yeah, here's the card that it was pulled off of. I guess that was one of many reprints of the first Reshiram card or something, but yeah, there's a little bit of like color effect. I don't know if it's from like a foil treatment or something, but it definitely the Godstone is definitely in trans flag colors, which I'm not going to complain about, but it does stick out a little bit too, and also because it's also off to the side. Oh, it's just a programmer named someone. I mean, that's a thing that happens. I'm trying to remember which one it is in this universe. I think Cassius was Gen 6, and Cassius is just like a punk dude who acts like a punk dude. Not your typical programmer. Yeah, and the Godstone was never used for anything. It seems like it's the gray version of the black and white stones. So I suppose in theory for Kyurem, but that I guess goes back to an old draft of the story when you get to Striaton Town. Yeah. I don't really need a whole lot of healing items, but I will pick up a couple of Pokeballs while I'm here. Yeah, because we start with a chunk of change, so I'll grab 10. Goodness knows I'll probably use them. Hey, Premier Ball. Nice. We gotta use that on something special. Or not. And we'll go back to the Pokemon Center anyway. Yeah, I still don't have the Scarlet Violet DLC pass. I'm not sure how value it seems like, but if you guys are having fun, that's the important part to, you know, for that. Yeah, I should see if I can set this up as like a slideshow that oscillates through backgrounds every couple hours or something. And just set up a set of them to switch through during stream. I don't know if that would be distracting though. But there's some cool art on a lot of Pokemon cards. So why not? Ah, yeah, here's Ghetsis. The most unassuming looking man. Well, yeah, because I streamed for 3 hours, so it would probably be more of like a 1 hour, but yeah. Every 30 minutes, that would probably be fair too, yeah. Ghetsis, a man who I believe even in this one is scarred. And he's got an eye patch. Like, okay, yeah, you could, you know, fashion eye patches are a thing, but I believe that Ghetsis has visible scars. In fact, I'm gonna go look up a picture. And he's coming over here talking about something that would upend people's entire way of life. Yeah, is he missing an arm in this game, or is that only in Black 2, White 2? Imagine if Trump started rocking the eye patch. Jesus Christ. That would actually probably make people who are into him vote for him more. Ooh. Yeah, Ghetsis, no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Absolutely. Ghetsis, Father of the Year. All years, forever. And by that, I mean the worst fucking guy. Well, I mean, yeah, he is scary. He's a good villain in that regard, though, you know. Lusamine, I've ranted about I've ranted about Lucamine in Ultra Sun Moon, and that I think they kind of botched that a little bit of trying to make her more of a redeemable character, because really the changes are so minor up until the moment when it's like, oh, by the way, have you heard of this thing called Necrozma? That she seems like she's still just as much of a shitty parent as she was in Sun Moon, where except that instead of being like overly controlling and abusive, she seems like she's neglectful and abusive. Meanwhile, Getsus is always a trash lord and unapologetic about it, and the writers never tried to change that. And they were just like, okay, he's a piece of shit in this game. Can we make him worse? And, I mean, they did make him try to kill you in Black and White 2. And then there's the Team Rainbow Rocket story where it's implied that he was part of a group that was destroying worlds. And yeah, he was an absolute, just the scummiest motherfucker possible. And I love him for that. Granted, I would also say that this is probably about as edgy as you can truly get with Pokemon. Just because a lot of it is like tied to a lot of other tonal stuff. That like, I don't know. What's his name? The pretentious French asshole, Lysander, there we go. Or is that Lysandre? I'm gonna say it Lysander, just so that way we can get all the letters there. Lysander in Gen 6. And he blew up a whole ass town, and I thought that was kind of a little bit, like, too heavy on some level, the way that worked. And then also, you have Malva in the Pokemon League, and something about that felt really, like, weird. But I think there's potential to make, like, again, really good crazy-ass villains like this. Like, you know, again, I thought Lucamine in Gen 7 was good, because also, I feel like Pokemon is a good place to deal in themes of things like child abuse, because if you're this franchise, this is a thing that everybody likes Pokemon, unless they're like a tryhard who's like overdoing it a little bit. So if you do that in sort of the most universal place, I think that that's a really good location for it. Meanwhile, I thought that Rose in Gen 8 was a little bit silly. At least in my opinion. And of course, Gen 9 was just so hands-off for most of the plot that it does get a little bit messy, and I think it's okay for what it is, though, because a large part of it is centered around, hey, you can see the level of incompetence to do with Geeta and how the Pokemon League is handled. And on the other hand, you can see that there's also just the story of Arven and his family and the neglect involved there. Yeah, Rose is misguided, and Rose is just kind of like, again, I think that he's a little bit goofy. Rose feels like they were trying to replay a lot of the concept of Team Aqua and Team Magma, but clowned up real hard. And again, I also sort of said that it's like, okay, it's also like that, but it's sort of like a theme about nuclear power almost, just not directly. But he definitely, he feels like kind of a goofus as opposed to the others who are actively evil and trying to do horrible things. He's basically classic Skeletor. I mean, that's one way to think about it. I'm not much of a Masters of the Universe expert to really say much there, but also now I will just mentally imagine him having Skeletor's voice. Unfortunately, I can't really do a good Skeletor voice, otherwise I mean, I can't do good voices at all, and yet I do it anyway. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Wait, no, that's the wrong. Sorry. I mean, they gotta communicate with each other somehow, right, dog? Sorry, I'm paying attention to the game a little bit now. I sound like Waluigi. It's like Waluigi. Oh, that's actually really funny. I'm gonna take a guess that my Pokemon is saying, "When's lunch?" Oh right, I had Rolf out front. And get some EXP. I'm surprised we haven't had a regular Waluigi game there. I'm surprised we haven't had a Waluigi game that's not like just Waluigi being there in a sports game or a or a Mario Party game of some description. I've got a Waluigi amiibo that I think was associated with a Mario Party game. I could be wrong about that. Oh, he likes it when pain is involved. He's basically, I guess N is basically Gray Fox, huh? Hurt me more. I also can't do a Gray Fox, but I'm gonna have to play Metal Gear Solid at some point, aren't I? Hey, 2 levels for Rolf. That's pretty good. Yeah, and a lot of the amiibos that I want are quite expensive. At least I'm pretty sure most of them are. The ones that I want right now, I've got a Ness already, which was pretty much top of my list forever, and that's not gonna change. I haven't looked at King K. Rool in a bit, nor have I looked at the little squishy Metroid one, which that's one that I want to pick up at some point. Palutena is one that I want to get because well, I'm trying to think of a way to say it that, you know, I don't want to just be like, Dusty, no. Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, that's terrible. I didn't want to go that far, but, you know. Not literally, obviously, for anybody who's, you know. But, yeah, Palutena is pretty high up the list, and that's kind of expensive. Mr. Game & Watch is one that I want, because I played as Game & Watch a lot when I played Smash, and he's pretty cool, and I just like the idea of having that as an amiibo. Unsurprisingly, I'd love to get the Banjo-Kazooie one, and also King K. Rool. There's a King K. Rool amiibo out there, but like, who doesn't want a King K. Rool amiibo, right? I mean, actually, probably quite a few people, but King K. Rool is pretty great. Back when I played Smash Ultimate, which was basically before any of the DLC other than Piranha Plant came out, King K. Rool was my main. But past that, I think those are the main ones that I want. I mean, getting one of the Samus ones, even one for Metroid Dread, would probably be not a bad choice that I would, you know, something that I would consider. But otherwise, we're gonna go heal again real quick. I've been moving so slowly in this. I'm sorry if that's upsetting anybody. I keep getting caught up in talking. Yeah, I will admit, I'm not a big fan of the Persona series full stop. I played through Persona 4, and it was good, but it had some issues, and I think it's aged poorly. And just the Persona series has kind of fallen off a bit since then. This way is not the way I need to go. No, I actually think I can go... I think there's something up the other way, but I don't remember. Well, listen, I think most of us are thinking it too, but... I didn't want to be the one to say it. Oh, this is just a well-perched house. What do you got, buddy? Oh, you can just add extra layers. Neat. Yeah, you can tell there's a lot of just little stuff that I've forgotten in this game. Yeah. Beach Ridley. Oh, just wait until Nintendo starts crossing more things over with Fire Emblem Heroes. That's what I would do with it anyway. But I may not necessarily be the most tasteful person that ever lived. Alright, I'm getting a ding-dong here. Oh, she just tracked us all the way over here. Well, fair enough. And this is when we get our running shoes, right? Pikachu, Marth, and Samus. Yeah, that's entirely fair. I'd consider a Marth because I have a lot of nostalgia associated with Marth in... Well, Marth in Melee, really, because obviously that was my first real exposure to Fire Emblem. And then I played Fire Emblem 7 when that came out in the States. And that was a very good game. Although, no Marth, obviously. Strangely enough, though, like, as far as I know, most of the... I'm pretty sure the only real available Fire Emblem amiibos are for the characters in Smash. So I wouldn't necessarily be likely to buy any of them anytime soon. Just because I am not really as much of a fan of most of them. Of course, unsurprisingly, a large part of that is like, hey, they're drawing from the later Fire Emblem series. The old generation still only has 2 representatives in Smash, which is kind of sad. Especially when you remember that they're Marth and Roy. And those are basically the same character. And also that Roy is from one of the worst games in the series. You know, they couldn't even be asked to give us Eliwood instead, right? Oh, Roy Koopa. Oh, hey, Rolf can hit ghosts. Yeah, I think generally that was the tenor of most people playing Marth and Roy in Melee, which is what I would remember better. Because Marth was sometimes a little too fast and was a little bit too of a featherlight touch to any of his attacks. Rolf has pickup, so that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, Fox is like really fast, but Fox has... I feel like Fox has a lot more impact with a lot of his stuff. Mostly I just think about like, you know, Melee Marth up B, and it's just basically a fucking teleport. It does 2 damage, basically. I played him a little bit back in the day, and he was alright, but yeah. Fox has sort of become the standard for a lot of that stuff, also because, you know, just a good moveset and everything. Falco is practically Smash 64 Fox. Yeah, basically. Melee Falco, anyway. Newer generation Falco does have some moveset differences. And Wolf is basically a completely different character, despite seeming very close. I played Wolf a pretty fair bit in Ultimate, also. Yeah, Melee is ancient at this point, but I played a surprising amount of Melee back in the day. Not like I could participate in tournaments or anything kind of surprising amount, but I played enough that I have nostalgia for it. Anywho, we're probably going to go back and heal after this fight, because the switching has kind of chewed us up a little bit. That's Brawl is the one you're thinking of. Vanilla Brawl being one of the lesser played games of the series, but he's alright. It's alright, pardon me. Blech. Lucas. I don't think I ever played Lucas a whole lot in any of the games that he was in, but I definitely played Ness like a lot, and I don't know how Ultimate Ganondorf felt after like the first few patches, but early on, Smash Ultimate Ganondorf was definitely kind of a pub stomper. So, yeah, IDK. I haven't played Ultimate in years, or any Smash Brothers really. I gotta like get back to fighting games. I've got parts of an arcade joystick that I should finish putting together. Hook that up to my computer. I've got Granblue Versus and Strive installed, and I should probably pick those up at least. Maybe look into one of the Smash games again. Oh, they added Banjo and Kazooie to Smash Remix? Nice. Yes, I believe I saw something about that in Round the Wheels Discord recently. Oh, hey, one of the rare times a dog runs from a kid. Oh, I got an item. What did I get, actually? I got an escape rope. Ooh, darn. Yeah, the spirits in Smash Ultimate have been pretty alright in terms of like crossovers and bringing in stuff that is not Nintendo owned. Plus, I mean, we've seen the DLC already. We all know they've got Sora in Smash Brothers. They're Their crossover game is definitely pretty up there now. But yeah, what I was saying before about the Fire Emblem amiibos thing, and then I got distracted, is that if there were a couple more of just characters that were in Smash Brothers, I probably would consider looking into some of those more often. Like, if they did a set for characters for Three Houses, I'd probably consider some of it. I still haven't played that game, but like, I remember looking at some of the story stuff and thinking it's actually pretty good. There's a couple of characters that I recall liking from Awakening. Not as many as in a lot of the earlier Fire Emblem games, though. I mean, obviously, if they did sets of characters from FE7 or Sacred Stones or Path of Radiance, there would be a huge list of stuff I'd be going after, but, you know, maybe I should be thankful. Especially because any sort of Nintendo merchandise just tends to disappear almost immediately. Alright, we got ourselves an escape rope, which is not going to be super useful for a while, but hey, it's free. I mean, we can sell it if we want to. Ganondorf for Zagreus, that's kind of interesting. So hey, finally a Pokemon that's not just another normal type. Purloin is mostly infamous for, at least nowadays, for being part of a strategy in like National Dex Anything Goes on Showdown, but it's still an alright Pokemon for our purposes. Alright, I'm gonna think for a couple of however longs on this nickname and not come up with much. We'll probably use this for a little bit at least. And I don't have, like, a cat of my own to name it after, so... Yeah, that should be something that's kind of doable nowadays. Through various interesting things with emulation. I can't fit Cat of Nine Tails in there, wait. Puns? What are you talking about? Yeah, there's that. fit it that way. You're right. This ain't shit. Just write Ninetales because Ninetales in this game. I don't even remember if it's in the post game, but we're just gonna call it Cat 09. There we go. Nice and simple. Walk around this kid. Items over here? There sure are. Got a potion. Steak. And a Pokeball. Nice and simple. And you can see we got a cut shrub over there. Oh, right. You challenged me before. Yeah. That's right. They challenge you a lot in this generation. There's a lot of battles. A lot of rival battles. Pardon me. Be a pretty simple fight, at least in theory. Yeah, we took the Lillipup down in 2 hits, and she started with Snivy, so makes him mark. Oh Jesus! Oh, that's special. That's terrible. Yes, I know that our Purloin only has 1 HP. It's tragic, but this thing doesn't learn Pursuit, so it's not this early. Nothing to worry about. Hooray! An easy battle that I forgot about. Well, I mean, there is Clink Clang, so that works in and of itself. Anyway, we got this kid over here who I think is another trainer fight. Yep. Alright, kiddo, I'm here for your lunch money. Neat, we got a flinch. So you can see Rolf is already, like, off to a good start here. Oh, there's some fun stuff you can do with nicknames. Yeah, it's the exact same moves that you use, pretty much. Or will use in a few levels, buddy. Oh, we don't quite have the space for that, but... you can do something along those lines. Oh well. If you gets this, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's the deal? Trainer school. I'll deal with that in a few minutes. The Dream Yard. This is an area that, we can't do a whole lot in here. But I believe that if we come in here and we pick everything up, we can get one of the monkeys for free. Is that a little bit later? And I mean, that's not a great Pokemon, but it is a free party member. So it will do for like the 5 minutes that we have to use it. You got a potion. I mean, it's a free healing item. I should probably pick that up. Yeah, it's a stopgap measure until we get a real Pokemon of whatever type we have instead. Of whatever type we'd be getting, which I think would be the grass type we get. Yes, I picked up Tepig. Hello, Hair Raisers. How are you? Yeah. Yeah, as I said, there's grass type options and quite a few of them in this generation. So we'd have Pansage for all of like, I don't know, an hour or so. Glad you could see the stream. Fair enough. Glad to hear you're doing all right. I mean, I think that's Darmanitan, Dusty, which Darmanitan is okay, but the Zen mode version is not actually the one you want. Yeah, sadly we had no Ganon here in our pig. Yep. Because I was just like, I can't think of a good nickname here. Well, we're gonna go with this one. I actually don't know Chainsaw Man worth anything, but I know when something's cute. Yeah, the Galarian Darmanitan Zen mode is pretty great, if I recall correctly. That's a really good Pokemon. Not even just the design. I believe so. In fact, I would assume so because it is a fire. Yeah, it's the only fire ice type so far. But yeah, it's got the Oh yeah, I guess it is like a nose. I thought the fire jet was further up the forehead. Like it was just leaking out of its forehead, but no, it's just a nose. Which is okay too. I mean, especially if it leans forward, it looks like that. But also on top of that, it's got a great, it's just good stats. It's a good Pokemon in general. Why that name? Because I was like, oh, what do I do with a cat? I was not sure what to do for a cat nickname. And I was just like, oh, Cat of Nine Tails. Even though Purloin and Liepard only have one tail. Yeah, I went with one with more spaces in it. For some reason, the spaces made sense. But, yeah, in fact, I'm actually just going to deposit, that Patrat, because we're not actually going to use that too much. And by not use it too much, I mean not use it at all. Why am I in withdraw? I don't need to do that. Yeah, see, you get it. Oh, Hypnorat, you could have had something a little bit more interesting as a gimmick than just being a Pokemon with hypnosis. I name it Benchwarmer. Yeah, tragically, the Hypnorat is no more. Preemptively retired from the party. So right now, Rolf is at level 9, so we'll put our Purloin up front to gain some experience for it, to sort of round out our levels a little bit more. Can we do anything else at the Dream Yard before we go to the trainer school? There might be like an item for us to pick up or something. Okay, there's a couple of trainers over here. Benchwarmer, yeah. Oh, Reshiram. Oh, Reshiram, the most unfortunate of legendaries in the land of competitive. But otherwise, I mean, Reshiram is pretty good if you're doing stuff in-game with it. I like Reshiram. Oh, wow, that thing went down immediately. Yay, crits. Also, yes, this is the first Pokemon that has the experience scaling in it, which is something that I forgot to mention earlier. I mean, I'm sure most of us know that by now, but yes, the EXP you get from your opponents scales based on the difference in your levels. So if Cat of Nine was to defeat this Patrat without a switch, then it would gain more experience than if Pochita won without a switch. Like, I may have scrolled through it a little too fast there, but if I was going a little bit slower, you would probably have noticed that Cat of Nine gained more experience. And it's not even just like, hey, yeah, you need less experience for the lower levels up. It's actually gaining different amounts of experience. They disabled that in Gen 6, and then I think they brought it back in Gen 7 and have never looked back and rescaled it a little better for the Gen 7 era going forward. Oh, that is unfortunately not helpful for you, buddy. I don't have any ghost types. I can't have any ghost types right now, actually. When does the first ghost type actually become available to us in this game? I don't remember. It's quite a while. Yeah, XY did not have the experience scaling. And they definitely retuned how the EXP scaling worked after this game. I think people thought that it was a little bit harsh in this game. Oh, it removes evasion stats too? I didn't even realize that because I use it so rarely. Is it that deep in as Frillisher Litwick? That's... No, there's Yamask. We can get Yamask in the desert, so... third town or so. Otherwise, that move just removes evasion, which is something we don't really have yet. Yeah, sure, we'll take a Pansage. Again, we're not going to use it for too long, but it's useful for the time being in terms of our adventure here. I've got grass types that I prefer over this, to put it nicely. And relatively few people are probably going to light it up for Simisage. No offense intended to the fans of the monkeys. I've actually gotten my butt kicked by a couple of them once in a while. But you will notice that they have basically disappeared from the franchise for reasons that are perhaps understandable. Produce lettuce. I was just like, can I make a Legends of the Hidden Temple joke here? Because I think it was the Green Monkeys was one of the teams on that, right? When was the last time I watched Legends of the Hidden Temple? It must have been like 25 years ago. So we can literally just call it Green Monkey. Which, I mean, that's about the extent of, there it is, it's a Green Monkey. Green Monker. Oh, they did? Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize that was a thing. So, yeah, fair enough, then. I guess every Pokemon truly does have... Like, I don't think there's any Pokemon out there that are unloved. That would be kind of surprising. But there's definitely some that there's some that I forget about. Not so much the monkeys. I remember the monkeys. Unfortunately, it's probably for the wrong reasons, but I do remember them. The ones that I tend to end up thinking about, like the things that I forget about, are stuff like Finneon and Lumineon are in my sort of area of, oh, I don't remember that very much. And to be fair, I think that their main thing is like, oh, hey, they're water types that have Silverwind. This should be our trainer school that we're going to go find our gym leader at. Or Charon, more likely. Oh, yeah. Where'd he go? I mean, it's possible. Yeah, sure, let's see what you're up to, Charon. No poison types. Which game would you have... Cause I'm like... I know it was in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, where I tended not to find it until very late. But what else does it have? What other games is it in? Pardon me. It's in Scarlet Violet. I know that. Was it in Sun and Moon? Omega Ruby. Okay, gotcha. Well, neat. Again, it's usually one of those things where it's like, it comes up a little too late for me most of the time, I think is probably a large part of the issue. Oh, he smartened up enough to equip a berry to his Pokemon. I haven't found any of those yet, so... Oh, alright. Well, that's one way to get an Oran Berry. That's nice. I won't complain about that. Yeah, I think if you got Finneon a little bit earlier in the game, as a rule... And I mean, hey, you can give it Silverwind right off the bat. That seems fine to me. And just be like, well... There you go. You've got at least a slightly more interesting Pokemon. Or something that's getting more of a chance. Unfortunately, it just often doesn't. And I think part of it is also that I tend to pick a lot of the water starters. I have no idea what got me started picking just water starters. Like, eventually it sort of became a thing of, hey, yeah, it's always good to have a water-type Pokemon with you. But even before that, I was just like, hey, Squirtle, I'll take a Squirtle. I'll take a Totodile. That's kind of cute in a way that it would bite my whole arm off. Mudkip. Did I take Mudkip? I don't remember what my usual Gen 3 starter was, but I've just always liked all the water starters for whatever the reason is. But I'm pretty sure all the starter Pokemon are pretty good, so... Yeah. In terms of the overall quality of fish Pokemon, I mean, Gen 5's fish, you had Basculin, and I think that's the main one. And then every other water type is something else, and usually found on land. Or, well, maybe I'm mostly thinking on something else because I'm thinking, and it's found on the land because I'm thinking of Palpitoad and Seismitoad. And Tympole, right? That's the one where the name isn't Entei and Toad, pardon me. And Alomomola, also known as what everybody thought it was going to be in Evolve the Love Disc. And then it wasn't. But yeah, Gen 4, you had the unfortunate fish. But honestly, I like most Pokemon, and, you know, I wouldn't say like any of them are terrible, really. I won't be mean to them. But mostly, I'll just sit here and continue to maul about the lack of Espathra merchandise. Deep sea fish from 2 and 3. Yeah, we did sort of have a bit of a lack of those for some time afterwards. Because I'm like, is there not just like a chunky looking coelacanth of some kind? And I remember, oh yeah, Relicanth. Relicanth is a coelacanth, duh. Oops. But whenever I think of a coelacanth, I usually think it's more jaggedy than that. Maybe because I also think of Sealamon from Digimon, which was my first exposure to a coelacanth kind of kind of creature. Huntail is a Pokemon that I seem to recall always feeling like it needed a couple of other moves in its moveset just for like flavor reasons. That it's like, oh hey, it's this eel and it doesn't have anything electric going on. I mean, not all eels are electric, obviously, but I don't know, I think it would be cool. Does it get, I mean, Thunderfang I'm not counting. Why not? I guess they just didn't think of that at the time. Excuse me. Yeah, so I can only get so far inside of the heads of the Pokemon developers. And that so far is not very. Oh, that's taking a second to save. That's probably because it's an emulator. It's definitely more than I ever remember being in a cart. And here we've got an interesting idea for a gym. I feel that I have said it before, but just in case I haven't, I like the idea of the first gym being... not having the difficulty determined by what your starter was. I mean, I appreciate as a game design thing the use of starters as sort of a difficulty select, but the amount of Pokemon that are available nowadays, it takes a little bit of the edge off of that stuff. Like, again, part of that is really just because I've played so much Pokemon. So I would not recommend that necessarily for every player, but... Okay, so... Oh, I thought it was... Okay, we gotta pick the one that's weak to the target, right? Gotcha. That's quite simple. This is around when they started to get really elaborate with the gym designs. They added a lot of that to Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I don't remember how it was in Platinum, but HGSS I remember using a lot of the 3D effects that the DS could output. Ah yes, we're going to be fighting some slightly tougher Pokemon than we were on the outside. So now seems like a fair time to level up our green monkey some. Ouch! That was real bad. I'm not a fan of that. But I'm gonna take a bit of a risk here. And see if we can get away with still getting some EXP. Okay, yeah, we're gonna switch back out then. That wasn't great. Can we get some a little better out of assist? Come on. We've got a lot of stuff in our party, though, so it might not go so well. Yeah, we've got multiple odor salutes, so there's that. We're gonna keep giving it a shot and see if we can roll Ember or Vine Whip or something. Oh, there we go. Hey, we landed the burns. That's pretty good. That should give us the edge that we need to win this fight. As we're really taking a lot of risks here. Unfortunately, no experience for you, but the rest of the EXP should go to our green monkey, which, again, not horrible. I mean, you'd think, wouldn't you want that on something that's a little bit more permanent? Maybe so, but I think we can deal with the small amount of loss to make our main thing that's going to help us out with this upcoming fight a little better. And yeah, you can probably tell I don't like using healing items very much. For anybody who's like, hey, and yes, I'm not good at strategy. I'm set in my ways and all that. I'm not. Just sits here chuckling for like 5 minutes as I try to use the words. Oh, there's not a third regular trainer in here? I thought there was. That'll teach me to think, or something. Oh, it's using Bide. That's moderately annoying, depending on how fast we can or can't do damage. Yeah, we may end up... yeah, good. And by that, I mean... Bide is a move that I can never put to use on my own. But every time the enemy uses it, it's always... I always roll low enough to not get away with taking advantage of them and their questionable decision-making. Well, at least you rolled the... Oh, we flinched. Dang it. It depends. I guess it depends on, like, once I hit a point where some of that stuff becomes more freely available, just to skip over the amount of waiting around for it. I mentioned stones earlier, in particular, in that regard. So that might be a thing, but we'll find out later on. Money eventually won't be a problem, so that's not a balancing concern there. Oh, jeez. that's when I roll. Yep. Assist is not really that useful to me right now because my movesets are a little too wide and too full of junk. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm like infinite in terms of getting hit by sand attack and then failing to land the hit immediately after. Like, yeah, it's an accuracy debuff, but it... And it doesn't actually prove more effective on the first turn. It just feels like it does because that's how the RNG usually shakes out for me. It's kind of funny, actually. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go gain a level with Green Monkey real quick. Because level 10 is not gonna cut it for this gym leader. As is typical, the gym leader is a little bit above that to start with. And I probably could just use more healing items, but also I could not do that. That's right, I was pressing the wrong button there. Oops. This should get us to level 11, I think. Oh yeah, it's a level 7 Wooloopup. I wasn't paying that much attention to it. And down it goes. Yep, that gets us to level 11. And we should be good to go with this Pokemon. But I'll take a little bit of extra free experience, because why not? Alright, now let's go see about finishing off this gym. And yeah, so this is going to be where we end up with them choosing a gym leader for us. Who's going to be Cress, right? Yeah, Watercress, yeah. And he just likes grass-type Pokemon, that's all. Alright. Why don't we take a quick save here? Just that way we don't lose all that money that we can spend on Pokeballs in case we get our butts kicked here. Which, I mean, if that happens, it's probably a little sad. Oh, he's just starting with a Lillipup instead of the Pokemon of the appropriate type. Right. Well, you can tell it's been a minute since I've been here. Yeah, because this is technically a normal type gym. Okay, the defense didn't go up. It's work up, not bulk up. So we can just keep spamming Vine Whip and probably take more damage than is necessary for most of these hits. How much set restore? 50. So we're gonna try to save that for when it becomes important. But yeah, even with one boost, this thing is a little bit nasty. So it might be necessary to switch to something different. We're gonna switch in Cat-O-Nine despite him being a little bit weak, because this fella likes to spam Bite. Oh, ouch. One thing is that just because of the scale that I'm playing this at, I'm sometimes missing out on the visual differences between the 0s and the 8s on our HP meter. I feel like we can take a couple more hits here. Especially if we growl this fella's attack down a little bit. And, you know what, again, Cat-O-Nine, you can tank a feint here. Yeah, I was hoping for 3 damage so that way I can get one more growl in, I won't lie, but we do what we can with what very little we have. Wow, alright. Rude. Oh, if I got double flinched, I would have been very sad, because I can't get that happening. Pokemon RNG works in the same principle as Fire Emblem and XCOM and everything else, where the good stuff mostly happens for the other guy, not so much you. And again, we're gonna not switch here. We're down to 1 HP. We're not gonna heal either. We're gonna see if we can at least put in some chip damage real quick, because I don't know how fast or not this thing is. Okay, well, it's fast enough to do that. So that's... I dislike that strongly. We probably shouldn't be giving away a boost for it like this, but... yeah, and definitely not 2. Wow, okay. slightly unexpected. And by slightly, I mean, can we sneak in a defense down? No. I'm not really liking our chances too much of being able to land hits because the damage is going to be doubled again, but... Oh, if you're going to spam work up instead of, you know, and just let me get free hits. I mean, go ahead and take buffs as long as you don't use them. I just need more crits to happen. I probably could be trying to use Lick in order to hope for a Paralyze. I'm hoping to clutch out a crit here, come on. No, of course not. Which means that we're probably not having a great time here. Oh, that's still like nothing. That's... I mean, it's 12 damage, which should be a lot at this point, but it's coming off of +4 and the opponent having 3 levels on us, so... Yeah, I mean, buddy, you had an attack that can paralyze me that you could have used instead. Which is what I could have done, and then I didn't. And it seems like it worked out. Hooray, we got our first badge. Okay, yeah, this game started the +10 levels on your trade obedience limit every time, so this game gives us level 20 with 1 badge, and we get the work up TM. That is potentially useful, but it's certainly no, like, return or something like that for a first TM. Which admittedly would be kind of gross. Well, in-game trades exist, but yeah, those are the only things that we have to be concerned about. Yeah. Alright, what do you got for us, Fennel? Science professor, you are researching trainers. Hooray! We got HM1. Well, I think we can at least teach that to Patrat so we can not worry about that at all. Use GameSync to collect save files of various trainers. That's not a thing that's even of real import here, Chief. But we do have a plain old PC here. And Hypno Rat, you can be our HM mule for a little bit. For our 1 HM. Unfortunately, definitely more of a jackass than a mule, but, well, what can you do? Have you got anything useful to say? Yeah. Oh, okay, you're the person who does it, right? Ah, yes, that was a great piece of tutorial. Thank you, Amanita. That made total sense. Oh, you stop that. You got anything to say, buddy? Oh, yeah, that's the thing. I think that started with these games proper, and previous games, they had, like, fixed shops and stuff. But don't take my word for it. Just a second here. I'm just looking for a list of in-game trades real quick to see if there's one of those I can grab. You. It's all you. There we go. In-game trade. That should help us. All right. Anywho, we've got this area to go look at. And yeah, just talk to the bush to cut it down. Hi, Bianca. Oh, I thought there was going to be more dialogue. I'm sorry. Oh, do we have to chase this thing around like Farfetch'd? At least Farfetch'd is vaguely Oh. Never mind, we got these goofuses. And what are they doing? They just seem to be haranguing it gently due to the lack of animations. Oh, never mind. He kicked it. I don't think that works, buddy. Like, at least squeeze it. Or it's... Wait, no, that's terrible. Sorry. These guys are pretty rockin' theme. The Team Plasma guys. And some pretty unimpressive Pokemon. They sure do. Or like Diamond and Pearl Knights. Yeah, pretty much. Two back-to-back. All right, buddy. Well, I'll stomp a mud hole in this guy, too. Or this gal, I suppose. I think the idea is supposed to be she's more feminine, but... I mean... both of them are in kind of the same looking robes. I've played the Rainbow Rocket scenario in Ultramoon, yeah. Many years ago, admittedly, but... yeah, that thing is pretty rough. Plus it mega evolves, which is Like, all kinds of nasty. They did not want you to have an easy time. Excuse me. Well, yeah, but I mean, also it's Mewtwo, of course it will. Plus, like I said, Mega Evolve, so... That includes you. Oh, you guys are about to get bit in the face by, the thing. Whatever his Pokemon is. Hydreigon, that's right. It must have been the results of, probably the Musharna emitting its dream dust. Musharna evolves from Munna from, like, a stone, if I recall correctly. I don't remember. Yeah, that will definitely do it. The main Pokemon that I ended up using for dealing with Ghetsis back in the day was Sawk, because that was just, at least in White, was just a very easily accessible fighting type Pokemon that hits really hard. So that helped deal with Hydreigon really fast. Oh hey, we get rustling grass in this location for what I think is the first time in the game. So we can find Audino. Audino are worth huge amounts of experience. And I mean, they're pretty cute, but they're not necessarily great Pokemon to use when you catch them. Yeah, it looks like their HP is better than I remember, because, yeah, that scratched you like nothing. Again, though, part of the problem could just be I'm using this thing. Yeah, again, sort of like... again, sort of like Chansey, which is the Pokemon that they're similar to. Well, no, it's a pun, Retro. Not literally using Bulldoze. Although, I mean, that might help you in some parts of the fight. I'm surprised this thing is actually dealing decent damage to me. But also, most of Audino's moves are support moves, designed more for doubles too, so... This is all, like, the most damage I'd probably take from an Audino in most cases. Well, I assure you that Retro probably didn't have a Pokemon that could use Steamroller, however, because only like 2 things learned that in Gen 5, if I recall correctly. Those being Scolipede and Golem. Let's learn Fury Swipes. You know what? Yeah, we'll get rid of Lick. Steamroller is not an amazing move, but it is a Bug-type move, and it has the Stomp effect, where if your opponent is using Minimize, which again is kind of rare circumstances, but if your opponent is using Minimize, it circumvents the accuracy drop, the evasion buff, and does double damage. Unfortunately, the amount of things that use Minimize are kind of rare in game. Speed Boost was one of the hidden ability options from, I think it was starting in Gen 5. But I could be wrong about that. I just don't remember if it was distributed with that at the time. However, I definitely know that I traded somebody for a perfect IV's Scolipede with Speed Boost back in 6th Gen. For the brief period when I was going to try doing that and was looking at like, hey, can I... do I have it in me to do like Pokemon stuff? Defense Curl is probably more useful than Odor Sleuth, so we'll go with that, I guess, in theory. Yeah, and Steel Roller is, well, Bulldoze is like 60 power to everything on the field and lowers its speed and is ground type, so it's alright. Rollout is the one that grows in power the more it hits, but you're locked into it until you miss. And Steel Roller, I believe, destroys the terrain effect and can't be used unless there's an active terrain effect. But it's a steel type and it uses and it does a lot of damage, so if you can do stuff with it, it's not bad. We got anything other than just Purloins here? We gotta have at least a little bit more variety, right? I mean, I suppose we don't have to, but it would help. I love those fast back-to-back encounters. Hey, we found ourselves a Pokeball. Always handy to find a couple of those out in the wild. Granted, we got a good supply right now just because I haven't seen a whole lot of anything worth catching. Or really much of anything that's not just cats. Oh, hello! Now that's a rare encounter! Oh no, it knows I can tackle. Yeah, this is a Moonstone evolution, so whatever moves it has are probably going to be like all it gets, but I'm going to hope that I can get at least some good moves out of it. You can see that it's slow as molasses, but okay, yeah, it's starting moves. It has Defense Curl, Lucky Chant, Psybeam, and Hypnosis. That's actually pretty okay for this part of the game. I mean, we're going to be relying on TMs in order to get anything else ever again. But that's still acceptable. And I want to take a look at what kind of catch rate this thing has. 75. And it's down to a little under half HP. We'll switch in... We'll switch in Cat of 9 and chisel its HP down a little bit more before we throw a ball. Yeah, I mean, listen, the important part right now is Psybeam. So that seems pretty handy for at least a little bit. Ah, crud. Well, I mean, we can't get hurt, so we can just sit here. We get some usable TMs eventually, too, so this could be an okay Pokemon. And by some usable TMs, I mostly mean we get Psychic, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Charge Beam. It's not perfect, but it will get the job done. Stats are okay. It's got good HP, good defenses. I mean, you can see this thing is shaking this off like a champ. 107 base special attack, that's pretty solid. Alright, so now we should be safe to catch this. We're gonna use the Premier Ball, because it's nice. Oh. Well, so much for that. I have no status effects right now, other than Burn, and Paralysis is tied to Lick, which, I mean, it's not a ton of damage, but I don't trust it. Give me a sec here to look what I can do with this. Alarm clock Cthulhu. No. I've got it. I mean, yeah, I guess so, but otherwise it doesn't fit with the... So, I'm naming this Hearn because I was at a bit of a loss as to what to name something that's based off of a Baku or a Tapir, which is I am getting there, don't worry. So Musharna is based off of a Baku, which is a type of yokai. A Japanese creature. And in my connection, the connection that I'm making is off of the author Lafcadio Hearn, who was one of the first Western authors to actually write extensively about that stuff in Japan. He actually traveled to Japan, and he spent most of his adult life there. Okay, yeah, the name that he went by in Japan was Koizumi Yakumo. So, which I think is quite interesting on a few other levels, but yeah, he's an interesting individual, at least from that perspective, and again, being one of the very earliest people to write anything about Japanese mythology to the Western world. I just appreciate the history of how that stuff happens too. I'm gonna leave Hypno Rat in the party because I think we have another cut bush to deal with somewhere nearby. Yeah, here we go. See, I remembered. Kinda. Oh, nice, a great ball. That probably would have just gotten broken out of from the last thing, but I'll pretend. I mean, I guess, but unfortunately, I don't think Hypno Rat is actually going to be doing any other HM Mule kind of stuff for us, because it learns Cut, but I think that's the only like junk HM that it learns. Surf and Strength are good. It can't learn Fly. I don't even remember if it can learn Strength. It definitely can't learn Surf. There's nothing to cut out here. I'm being a fool. I forget what HM5 is in this game. Whirlpool isn't one in this game. Waterfall is good if we have the right Pokemon. But in all likelihood, we're going to end up just being a little bit upset about that, I think, because it is mostly learned by other water types. You can fly if a Machamp throws it. Well, again, remember that we're in Black and White 1. So instead we got Conkeldurr. Or we got Girder and it can just baseball bat it, right? The clown Pokemon for people who are clowns, because you can't evolve it without a trade, I guess. Regardless, once I'm sure that we don't need Cut for a little bit, because there's not a whole lot of places that you need Cut in this game, then I will box Hypno Rat and we'll have an actual party of real Pokemon. Yes, I'm counting Green Monkey as being a real Pokemon. By comparison, it sure is. And even then, it's not like an expert. Oh. We have to go back and talk to her. Oh, right, because we have to go enable a thing that doesn't work. In this house, Fennel? The answer is no. Oh, yes. She's just upstairs doing this in someone's attic. Oh yeah, Rock Smash exists, huh? There's no real reason for me to turn this on, but it does give us a fancier pattern going on in the bottom screen. I mean, I know it's useless, but... there are people who are working on a way of emulating Dreamworld stuff again. I don't know what the current status of it is, so don't ask me about that, but there's people who have been trying to do that. One particular person on YouTube has started doing some stuff to basically replicate old e-reader events and stuff for Pokemon Emerald. In fact, let me see if I can get their channel real quick and I can link that, because some of that stuff has actually been quite fascinating. Yeah, so there's the YouTube channel. Again, some really interesting stuff in there. If that is your interest, I would recommend having a dig through that channel. As far as, like, the future having servers and stuff, I don't completely know just yet. But we'll have a... we'll find out sooner rather than later, I suppose. Hopefully. Yeah, you're here to give me a tutorial I was not paying attention to because, yeah. As far as connecting to it, people were able to change the DNS connection, I believe it was, for certain, for some of the DS, 3DS era stuff for cloning purposes. So I would assume that it would be something like that. Yeah, I'm assuming that it would just be a refined version of that concept. Oh, speaking of the Switch 2, I know, like, nothing about where that's going. The screen size was mentioned at some point, and I was like, well, that's nice. Yeah, it would be something along those lines. Probably. Is how I'm assuming that it would go down. This is our daycare. Not of huge importance to us right now, but we got a couple of trainers over here that we can get in some battles through. Battles with. Oh yeah, because I just worked through. Thanks. Alright, we'll put Cat-O'-Nine up front, because that's probably the fella in our party who needs the most experience. Yeah, most of these trainers are significantly younger than us. We're gonna be a real jerk, I guess, or something, and fight all the small children. Free experience. I'm actually not completely certain where that sits in terms of canonicity, actually, Retro. Because I'm like, yeah, I remember that being mentioned, but I don't remember where. Is that a thing from, specifically from the anime? Because, of course, that didn't always follow it either. Yeah. It's just that 10 years old has usually seemed like a good choice of age for the player character in most cases. Oh, we died to Scratch, didn't we? Well, that's all right. We can deal with this. I probably did, didn't I? Well, to be fair, we were kind of pushing our luck with a Pokemon that's under-leveled. I probably shouldn't be doing that. I should just immediately do the switch and get the EXP the regular way. Meanwhile, this thing should be significantly less hard because we actually have an effective move here. Oh yeah, and we're getting flinches. That's pretty good. Why don't we go back and heal, because that was slightly embarrassing. Oh yeah, our tiny little dog has teeth despite barely having a visible mouth. That's enough to induce some sort of flinch. See, these are two separate trainers, right? The small children. Oh hey, look, we fought one of those in the gym and it just rolled over for us. That was fun. Ouch! That's a pretty meaty crit. That's not great. It took half of our health. Although I guess we're still down by a level, so... Eh. I'm assuming all of the little kids have the 3 monkeys. So far, yeah. Although so far is not necessarily going to do much for us, but hey. Okay, I would have been surprised if that did more than 1 damage. Lick is not a strong move to begin with, and then we resist it too, so... It's quite an animation. Incinerate, however, has relatively mediocre power, with most of its effectiveness being in its ability to destroy berries. Oh, neat. I know they've been doing that off and on with a lot of the, like, Memento monsters, I think are at least somewhat along similar concepts. Like, there's a Memento Trihorn Dragon, I think. I think it's Memento is the Trihorn Dragon retrain. But they've been doing stuff with that a lot, which is pretty cool. I have at least some degree of nostalgia for Forbidden Memories. Even though Forbidden Memories is kind of a terrible game on some level. But it's at least fun for part of it. Until you get to the part where it's like, okay, well, I know the solution, now I just have to RNG through all the puzzles by doing the exact same thing because it's the optimal strategy. Due mostly to a lack of card pool. Oh, hey, look, it's one of those things that we've seen once or twice. I don't know, little buddy looks familiar. Do you have anything different to say after that? No. I'm probably thinking of something from Gen 7. Oh, I remember that Sturdy in this game is kind of, this is where it became the one-hit protection. Which can be kind of a problem. So we deal with this by focusing all our damage on single targets. The game retargets if something needs to. It's not Golden Sun. That's about the only thing that I know of offhand about Golden Sun, other than the fact that people really like it a lot. Although, considering order of operations here, I will do this. Because I'm pretty sure that Vine Whip is going to be a kill. Or Final Fantasy 1, yeah. Right, yeah, that's why I was even thinking about Golden Sun at all, is because it's on Switch Online for people who are paying for the $50 package, which I am not. I'll just play it the old-fashioned way. The way that makes Nintendo cry and makes me laugh. Oh, they really just want the cat out of here, huh? Not interested in any of Purloin's shit, which is interesting with their choice of Pokemon. It's not like Revival Blessing is in this game, jeez. Nope, little too low. Oh, hey, you. Oh, yeah, he wants to fight, because of course he does. He's leading off with Oshawott. Let's give him a problem before we switch out. Oh, ew! He all over the place. Anyway, that's all right. That's a waste of a turn. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure this guy's second is going to be like a pro lane or something still. He didn't switch to a Pansage. Surely. So we can just use anything that hurts, really. Well, okay, we can't use Musharna. Which is a bit of a tragedy, but we'll deal with it, I'm sure. Assist, and you're gonna pull... Ah, yes, good old the move that was broken many years ago. Water Sport should be over by now, although we don't have a good register of that. It is on a timer, yeah, considering we did actual damage with Ember, I'm gonna say that's over. Like, we're not that over-leveled right now. Oh, that's fine. You go ahead and do that, buddy. Oh. Gee, they were going somewhere in a hurry. Oh, those jerks. Oh, off goes Charon. He didn't even drag us with him. We have to do that ourselves. Alright. Oh, hey, it's Pidove. Pidove is probably one of the less interesting of the regional early game birds. At least that's my experience. I mean, it's certainly no Staraptor, but... very little ever is. Oh wow, it broke out of a Pokeball at that little HP. Are you for real? That's kind of a shock. I want to look something up real quick. It has a catch rate of 255. Unless my knowledge of the catch rate math is different for Gen 4. Oh god, yeah, I shouldn't be looking at Bulbapedia. It's a whole mess of fucking failed to parse math MLs. Oh jeez, oh god, that hurts my eyes. Regardless, I could have sworn that it was like guaranteed if you were a third of their HP or less. Well, welcome aboard the team. Bomber. Ultimately, this Pokemon is probably going to completely bomb the effort to get on the team. Did you heal me? Maybe Sharon does. Well, I'll deal with that after I get this item. Oh, hey, look, it's a garbage rat. Yay! Truly unfortunate Pokemon that doesn't get to do anything funny. Yeah, so I see it's biting. That's always great. It's going alright so far. Still not going the fastest, but that's alright. We've gotten up to the scenario in the little side cavern over here that all we can do is fight a couple of Team Plasma dudes in this area until later. And of course we got Patrats doing Bide. Yeah, the numbers are different in Gen 5. They are rougher in Gen 5, but again, I could have sworn that it was basically free at a third of HP or lower at 255 catch rate, but it could be that I don't remember my capture math worth anything. Ooh, ouch. Alright, Blitzel, can you, like, just use Charge some more instead of anything else? Or get in the Pokeball real quick? Get in the ball, Nebby. Oh, you didn't like that reference? Okay. Is this the game that has the... This might be the first game that curves the catch rate based on how many Pokemon you've caught total. So that might be why I'm whiffing a lot of these really seemingly easy catches. And yeah, we got Blitzel. Blitzel is, of course, a zebra. So we're going to name it Stripes, because... Of course I choose the easy names a lot. Yeah, so we're going to be changing our team after we deal with this. Oh, get into a battle. I mean, yeah, I can show you the switch method, ma'am. If you really want to see that, I guess. And it's biting. All right, let's force it to waste some turns. I'm not gonna try putting it to sleep just in case that interferes with Bide a little bit. It probably won't, but it's always fun to make Bide do 0 damage. A confusion. Self-destruct? Well, not literal self-destruct, but, you know. No, it didn't hurt itself in its confusion. Rip. Level 12. Nice. Send in Lillipup. That thing is definitely faster than us and has bite. But we should probably be able to take at least one. Yeah. Oh, fudge. Boo. Yeah, see, that defense curl is coming in handy, surprisingly. Helping us tank those hits a little better. Right, what's your last Pokemon? Oh, I was expecting a Purloin, actually. But a Pidove. That's special damage, I think? Yeah, whatever. It's not a lot, is the other side of it. And Pidove's definitely the glass jaw of the team. Oh, cool, we got an Oranberry. That's quite handy. And a Repel, that's something I probably won't use in this playthrough too much, but under normal circumstances, those are quite good. Oh, I was hoping you would heal me, but okay. Yeah, Wellspring Cave, that's the name of this place. I'm sure you guys are going to be so good about using these Pokemon to their fullest potential either, right? Team Plasma. Again, still out here swinging around Patrats as your Pokemon of choice. I know that Pickens are a little slim this early on, but I mean, I've even got Purloin up at the front of the party just to show you what a real Pokemon that would actually fit with an evil team would be in the early game. So, you know, come the F on, right? Alright, let's burninate this thing real quick. Hey. Wants to learn Fury Swipes. Use the Fury Swipes! I just remember that from the anime for some reason. When Ash has Team Rocket's species of Pokemon for some reason and they're advising him. Alright, so is this our first 2v2? Yeah, this is a 2v2, right? It's not our first in the game, obviously, but I was gonna say, this is the first one we're required. It's not the first one we're required to do because we have to deal with the two small children also. Whoops. And yet, once again, more Patrats. Yeah, I remember that being a pretty good... You know, the Pokemon anime, I think, gets an interesting rap from various people. Like, back in the day, a lot of people were like, oh, Ash is so dumb, and it's like, it doesn't work on the same rules as the video games, but... Yeah, that was definitely a very entertaining... instance there. Boy, if I had an AoE move, that would kind of help right now, but... Yeah, I called aiming that real good. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Ash had a lot of pretty good lines. I gotta give that for the script writing was actually pretty solid. And again, you gotta always remember that, you know, anime versus games, the games are inherently going to be more mechanical and numbers based because RPG, you know. Anyway, we cleaned these scrubs' clocks. I mean, listen, guys, forget about whether or not your motive is good or not. That's a literal child. And just abducting their Pokemon is not going to actually, like, further your ends anymore. It's just gonna get somebody, you know, if not for us, then the cops, right? Surely the Unova Police Department aren't that incompetent. I mean, it's not the real world police. They're obviously going to... Oh, he didn't heal my Pokemon. Sharon, you dick. Whatever. TM46, Thief, yay! Slightly less yay, it's only 40 power in this generation, but it is a completely free move just hanging out there. I guess maybe we shouldn't complain too much. It's also dark type, so we can give it to Purloin and we can have a little bit more power on our hands. Oh, guys, can I heal first? Oh, we can get some heal balls. That's nice. Yep, our classic faceless NPCs. Well, I mean, to be fair, there's like actual police officers in the other games, and they mostly just wait around for you to talk to them and fight you for it. You know, suspecting a kid, but not really doing a whole lot about Team Rocket. So, I don't know, maybe they are on the level of real-world cops. Ugh. Regardless, I think my point stands that you would think that Team Plasma, like, if this was their idea of they want people to give up using Pokemon. One sec, I'm gonna cough. Oh, sorry about that. My throat's drying out a little bit. I need a drink of water. You would think that, like, stealing a Pokemon from a child is not actually going to further the goal that much in the long run. Oh, hey, our Pidove has super luck. That's pretty good. Can it get Air Slash? Or Air Cutter, or whichever one is the increased crit rate? We may put Stripes in the party later on, but buy some lottery tickets. But for the time being, it is Blitzel is not necessarily the most important thing for us. I guess it depends how I feel about any of the rest of these fellas, because we do want to keep a grass type. And goodness knows, we'll probably get another... Well, Electros is in this game, so that would give us a very slow team, but it would be an electric type that's pretty good. After some heavy TM abuse. But... yeah, we'll hash that out later. Speaking of later, I'm gonna go over to the next part of the route. And I'm gonna, for some reason, think that I was getting a cutscene because I can't pause with the start button. And that's going to do for today's session of Pokemon Black.